Can we see that?
I don't know. I don't see anyone right now.
I don't think we can.
Okay. All right. All right. So, hey. Happy Wednesday, you guys. Happy September 23rd. This month is crazy. I feel like life is crazy right now. Everyone's like, what? I'm super excited to have you all on here tonight. I love talking about the business, and I love it when I'm on like a high. Like I am on a coaching high right now where I'm literally like, everybody needs to do this. Like this, everyone needs to feel this good. Everyone needs this community. So I've just been riding the wave and I'm loving it. I'm super excited to share this opportunity with you. The way that we kind of do this is I'm going to go into a little bit of my story, and then the girls who are on here can talk a little bit about theirs too. And then we'll do some Q&A stuff, things that I know are hot button questions for people who are considering this opportunity, but also then anything that you're thinking, just pop it in the chat, right? So first and foremost, I'm going to say that I have been doing this for almost 7 years, which is crazy town. Like that is crazy, because I was reflecting a lot this past weekend as I was driving up to an event in Pittsburgh. And I was like, you know what? It's so funny because like now I know the potential of this business, and looking back in hindsight, I can see all the ways that it has changed me and blessed me and all the things that have happened. But back then it's like, I almost want to be able to go back to there, because I didn't even know a smidgen of the potential that this business had, and I was still so excited. Like I was such a baby coach that I didn't even like I didn't get it, you know, like I didn't know the growth and the changes and all the opportunities that would come along. I just saw that, you know, I was watching on social media, I saw someone who was like me. She was a mom of 3, or a mom of 2 rather, and I was a mom of 1 at the time, and she had left her school teaching job to do this full time. And I was like, at that point, I'm like, I will do whatever. Like, you need me to like be a secret shopper, you need me to go like be that, you know, like how they do that at like restaurants. You can like go and eat a meal and like they don't know that you're connected to whatever, like give a review. I would do anything because I just wanted to like have an extra stream of income and be able to stay home. And so I saw her and I was like, all right, if she can do it, I can do it. And then I was like, wait a minute, I feel like I can go on like a trip to Mexico. And at that point, Ryan was like, you're being ridiculous. Like, we're never going to Mexico, you know? And so now here we are almost 7 years later. And like, you know, we have not gone to Mexico because I've been pregnant every time they've gone, but we are going. But we've gone to Jamaica, we've gone on cruises. Obviously with the pandemic, we're not traveling, but that's just kind of the flashy thing that this business has done for me. But beyond that, it became so much that I didn't even know I was missing. And so I like right before this call, I pulled up my first ever before picture. And when I took that before picture, like there was so much going through my head about like the physical, you know, I was like, this sucks. I hope no one sees this. And now it's like, I share it because I know who that girl was behind the camera. You know, like I know when I look into her eyes, I see that she was lost and didn't even know it. I see that she was lacking so much that she didn't even know. And so it's so cool for me to look at that, and then it just ignites this fire. Like I need to share this with everybody, because if I don't even know like what would have happened if I didn't say yes, or if I didn't do this, right? So all that to say, I'm excited to come on here and to share with you. I had never completed a Beachbody program. My coach was like, you need to drink Shakeology. And I was like, I'm currently blending like spinach and like oats, and I've got it down pat. Like I'll try your stuff for a month, but like pretty sure I got this, you know? And then lo and behold, here I am still drinking it. I had no social media posting. I didn't do any of that stuff. I was like, obviously if you look at that picture, nowhere near my goal weight, but again, I just went for it. And I was so strategic in the fact that I was like, what do I need to do? What is the opportunity? What is my goal right now? And then for all this time, I've always just kind of reverse engineered it. Like, what is my goal? What's the action it's going to take to get there? Here we go. And so from a business standpoint, it was all kind of spelled out for me that way. So that's it. That kind of brings me to where I am today and all of this. And so now I'm fortunate enough to have a team and to be able to run challenge groups and to help my clients along with their fitness journey. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. But I think what we can do is let's hear from Christy. I'm going to put her on the hot seat because Christy's experience is totally different. And I'll let her obviously catch you up. But we were strangers. Like we did not know each other at all. And she basically was a free, what they call lead from Beachbody to me. So she had signed up to do Beachbody programs, and Beachbody was like, here's the coach. And she's like one of the very few who would respond to an email and be like, okay, cool, I'll use the coach. And so now here we are, and she's gotten incredible results as a challenger, but then has now become a coach herself, and she helps other people. So Christy, do you want to tell us a little bit about like what that was like? And even like if you reflect back on, because yesterday was 2 years. So maybe even reflect back on like when this crazy chick from New Jersey messages you and says like, hey.
I remember the day that you messaged her and the first time you talked to her. I remember you like messaging me about it. I love it.
Oh, you're muted, girl. That would help. What, you can't read lips? Like, come on. Okay, so I had done like Beachbody programs in the past, like buying from the infomercials, and then I would like check the nutrition thing because I was like, well, that's stupid. I don't need that. And finally, like my mom gave me the container. So I did that at one time with like 2-hour workouts in between pregnancies. And finally, in January of 2018, I was suffering from like postpartum depression. I had anxiety. I had just lost my mom like 4 months prior, no, a year and a half prior to that. I was just in a very, very bad place mentally, just like lowest of lows. And so I sat at my kitchen table and I bought a year subscription to BOD. And it was like the scariest purchase of my life. It was $100. Like, what am I going to do? Like, this is a year commitment. And I did the nutrition part by myself on my own for like the first 6 months. And I lost like 20 pounds. And then 2B came out and I wanted to try that. So I bought a challenge pack. And I had gotten, when I signed up, when I signed up for BOD, I got hooked up with Prasanthi, and I got put on her email list, and every email I rolled my eyes and I was like, that's stupid, that's an MLM, it's fake, whatever, delete. But I would read the emails and then I'd like roll my eyes and delete it. So then I bought a challenge pack because I wanted to try Shakeology. I didn't want to pay the money for it. Like, it's a bag of powder. How good can it be? I get my shakes from Target, and I tried it and I was hooked. And so then I was like, well, I have to save money on it. So she started messaging me again and we started talking. Evidently, I'm finding out that she like stalked my Instagram, which like had nothing on it. It was like my kids, because I wouldn't be pictured. And my husband is a musician, so she was stalking him. And we were messaging back and forth. That first message thread, like every time I was like, oh, she just won't quit messaging me. Like, I remember being on my couch with Brett, like, Brett, she just like keeps this conversation going. But I got put in a challenge group. I was very quiet for a very long time. And I was like, I don't need this. This is dumb. Like, but nobody, like, I had lost all of my mom friends. I had, well, all of my friends. I didn't have mom friends. So I was very much alone, and this challenge group was a place where people had the same goals as I did. They had the same ambitions, like they were doing the same things. It wasn't just out partying and drinking all the time, which is what my friends were doing because they didn't have kids. And so I grew into this challenge group. And she kept saying, like, you need to coach, you need to coach. And I would roll my eyes because, like, that's dumb. Like, I'm never going to do that. I'm not outgoing enough. I can't do it. And then she kept posting about the trips, and I kept watching, and I was like, well, okay, like if she can post, like if she can do some posts every day, like I can do some posts every day. And I had a friend who was struggling with her weight, and I was like, well, if there's other moms that are struggling with this, like if my friend is, like, obviously there are other moms. And so I messaged her, and that was 2 years ago, like yesterday, and pretty much never looked back. And it was the greatest blessing in my life. Like, God called me to do this. He absolutely put this on my heart to pursue this, to help other women going through the same thing. And the change, like not only the physical transformation, like I lost 40 pounds, But just like, I'm more confident, I'm more excited about life, that coaching has brought me. Like, it's indescribable. You can't put it into words. So that's where I am. I still haven't been able to go on the trip because of COVID. The first year I earned it, but I didn't have a babysitter. And then the second year COVID hit. So next year, that's when. But we did meet up. We did go on a couple of trips because we went to Summit, which is like our annual convention. So we got to, like, that was the first time we like met in real life. Yeah, like, that's like that so was crazy. And then you went to the trip last year to Destin, I did, right? Yeah, went to Destin, so that was fun. That was fun too. Yeah. Oh, we have someone else. Amanda Carney is in the waiting room. Yeah. I think it's so funny, the waiting room. Hold on, let's bring her in. I feel like it's like a game show. Like, bring her on. Come on down.
She's one of Colleen's coaches.
Oh, okay,
or
cool.
aspiring to be one of Colleen's coaches, I should say. She's not signed up yet.
Oh, okay. She's connecting to audio. I guess it's taking a lot of people a long time to connect to audio. So we'll keep going. So Marissa, just to kind of like dissect some of the things that Christy was saying. So because you guys, I don't know if I told you, like, Marissa hasn't even been in a challenge group before. So she's kind of like I was, or like Kim was, and kind of how Christy was in the beginning too, I guess. But so she's never been in a group before, and she's already into fitness. So basically all these groups that I talk about all the time, and like, you know, you see me posting on Instagram and like my crazy dance party, and I'm like tagging people. We run private groups. There are two, some people do them on a platform that's just for Beachbody called BOD groups. I actually still do mine on Facebook just because I am on Facebook. So I just tend to use that. But basically in there, that's where like the coaching happens. So that's where, like, when you have a client come on with you, you bring them into this group, and that provides them this accountability, because now they go from being someone working out at home by themselves to like being in this community where everyone is sharing their goals and everyone is talking and everyone is showing up. And what's awesome about it is that over time, you know, you're showing up every day and week after week, and you're sharing your goals and you're sharing your workouts, and then you start to form this actual community. And it's like you share different life things and you share different things. And so then when you don't show up for your workout, someone's like, hey, like, Tori, where were you? I haven't seen you in a couple of days. Like, is everything all right, girl? Like, what can we do? You know, whatever. And in there we share tips every day, which is all content that when you join our team, we give you that training. And then we also share like meal plans and recipes and all that stuff. So that is all provided like by Beachbody. And then as a team, we have additional resources. But so that's where like the coaching part as a group is happening, if that makes sense. And then from there, what I personally do, and I know these girls do too, is we like have private messages with our girls, or we'll have a thread on Facebook Messenger with them. And then I send out emails weekly also and monthly to my customers with just different tips and stuff like that. So that's like where the coaching part comes in. It's more of like accountability. You're never having to portray yourself as the quote unquote expert, because in the beginning I was like, well, I'm not. My whole thing forever was like, if I don't have a degree and I don't have a piece of paper or I don't have a certification, like, I'm not legit. And that's not how this is at all. Like, you're not claiming to be like an expert, you're claiming to be someone just like them and helping them and providing them the tools, and then you're giving them the support. So that's what we mean when we're talking about a challenge group. And then the only other abbreviations I think Christy used were BOD, which is Beachbody on Demand, and 2B, which is one of our nutrition programs. So there's 2 nutrition programs that Beachbody has, which is the Ultimate Portion Fix. Those are the containers that you've probably seen people use. And then the other is 2B Mindset, which is like a mindful mindset approach of like, what should your plate look like? And what is your kind of attitude around eating and emotional and all that stuff. So that's that part of it. All right. If you have any questions, and Amanda, I know I can't see you, but I see that your name is there. So if you want to type anything in the chat, if you want to introduce yourself, you absolutely can do that. If you guys have any questions while we're talking, you can pop them in the chat as well. Like I said, we're going to just try to address some questions that you may already have, but if we don't read your mind, hey, there's her face. If we don't read your mind, go ahead and put it in the chat and we will absolutely address it. So, oh, I don't know where, there's Kim. Kim, you good? Okay, So I wanted to talk to Kim real quick and have her kind of share a little bit of her experience, because Kim and I met like years ago as like drinking buddies in our like early 20s.
Mhm.
And she was like a lifeguard, like an ocean lifeguard, and just badass. And so she had already had like this fitness base. She was like a college athlete and all the things, right? And if you see her husband in the background, he's like a CrossFit guy, and he's like total like muscle man back there. So needless to say, all of that to say, she already had the tools for fitness. She's a phys ed teacher. She already had a workout. Like, they were super into CrossFit. So like, for me to talk to her about coaching with me was a stretch, because she was like, well, I already have workouts. Like, I'm not going to do your at-home workouts and get results, you know? And now here we are all these years later, and she's a freaking rock star, badass, like all the things, but she's also like built this business, found a love for home fitness, but then also like, because of that, has had the ability to touch the lives of others, have an impact on other people, and just even change things for herself. So am I on the right track, Kim? You want to add to that?
Well, that's my story. So, and it's funny because like, 'cause, all this stuff. I was so many times I would just be like, I already know how to work out. Like, I teach people how to work out. Like, my as a phys ed teacher, my mission is to like teach kids to be physically active for a lifetime. So I'm like, I'm already doing that. I don't need to. And I wasn't really looking at when she would talk to me about all this. I was like, wow, I would take it as a compliment, but I'd be like, psh, yeah, it's a scam. I'm not doing it. Like, I don't need to pay someone like that to sign up to do something I already know how to do. And then it finally, she just kept popping up, talking to me. But I'm not gonna lie to you, like, as much as she was popping into my my DMs, we're not called DMs then, but like, I was stalking her twice as much. Like, I was following along, and I would legit like compete with her, and she had no idea. So like, I would be like, because she had her first, and she had like amazing results, and then we got pregnant at the same time, and I was even like, I remember her like talking to her and be like, psh, yeah, well, I had my baby before her, like minutes, days, a day before, and but then like watching her go through the postpartum journey and being like, the whole time I was watching, being like, okay, like, she's having so much more fun than me, but I know I can do this. So I'm like, I took before pictures, um, when she started like we both started our first like workout, and I was like, I'm gonna do it on my own, and she's gonna go do her beach body thing, and I'm gonna kick her ass in it. And she didn't think I knew it. I was like competing, and of course she kicked my ass with the results, and I was like, what is it? I went back to work, and I realized, I'm like, okay, sorry, Bill. There's something bigger out there than me just helping kids. Like, there's something so much bigger, and maybe what she's talking about, I need to entertain. So I got on a call like this, and instantly everyone was dancing and shaking, and I'm like, this is what she had. This is her secret weapon. She's having too much fun. I like having fun. I want to have the fun. And at that point, I knew I wanted it. And then I just needed to sell somebody else on it. And once I like did the research, I was like, all right, I can now take my knowledge of what I have, passion, and as like, I always wanted to be like a professional athlete, but I was a swimmer. So my only chance at that was to make the Olympics. And as much as I have passion and drive and I love the sport, reality is I was not Olympic bound ever. So like, I was like, wow, I get to actually finally be a professional athlete. I'm going to get paid to work out, share my journey. And instead of having like teammates like competing for championships, instead I have best friends who were training for life, and we're going through the struggles, the ups, the downs, and celebrating the wins. And they were so much more fun and exciting when you have like-minded people with you chasing those same goals. And that's when I was like, all right. And then once I started sharing my journey, and like, I feel like honestly, because of my my career as like a phys ed teacher and people just knowing like my background, I think they trusted me when it came to health and fitness immediately. So I had people like jumping in with me right away and running with me, and it just kind of just took off. And I can't imagine a day without it. I literally, like, today I had like such a realization. I pulled out like the tracker of like the daily activities you recommended to do to be successful. And I literally like went through all of it and I checked off, and it was like 8:30 in the morning. I checked off everything except for 3 things on the list of that I already did for the day. And it's just already such a routine where it was such a fulfilling moment to be like, how cool is this? Is that my routine is helping other people. And I didn't even feel like I worked yet today. Like in my mind, I would have told you, if you came and said to me like, oh, did you get anything done for your own personal business today? I would have told you, no, I worked out. That's it. But then once I went through it, I was like, wow, this is how simple this really is. It's like, it is freaking like crazy here, right? Crazy. And like, I'm still crushing my own business. Now I'm going to be a coach 5 years in November. And just to think of like, I was listening to a podcast today and how like, it was Chalene Johnson about how like, it was just her goal to get 1,000 people. And I'm just like looking back at how many people have impacted already. It's just like, I'm nowhere near done, but it's just like if I never said yes, all those people, who knows where they would be right now. And I just think it's like such a fulfilling thing. I don't know. I'm just so pumped. Like now I see like such a bigger image than just being like, who wants to join this challenge this month? It's like, like Krisante's saying, it's like, I feel so good because of this and everyone needs to know about it because you're missing out. And it's just second nature now. It's cool.
Love that. So Kim was talking about the tracker. Basically, when you sign up to be a coach on our team, what we do is we take you and we put you into our new coach mentorship. And so you're not only getting guidance from whoever you sign up with, but you're getting guidance from the collective team, as well as like our larger team, which is massive. And what's awesome is you're gonna get like the best of the best training. But we have been doing it for so long that we've really found a way to simplify it. So we have, like Kim was saying, a tracker that like legitimately you can go through it. And if you're super focused and intentional, which that's like our biggest message right now in our business is be focused and be intentional, because life is crazy. Like on any given day, you're a teacher, a nurse, a mom, a doctor, a therapist, and all the things, right? So we give you like this piece of paper, which obviously you can't see, but I'm happy to share it with you. And you just go through and you check things off. And so it's a really great way to hold yourself accountable, but then also to share with us so that we can help to guide you in this business. And I think that's what's so cool is that the only competition you're ever going to have in this business is up here. Like, that's what I think is so cool, because I was a teacher for so long. And even in the classrooms, it was like, oh, I'm going to do a better lesson plan than her. Or like, we're going to have a door decorating contest and I'm going to do it better than her. Like, there were people that were literally like, close my door, I don't want her to know because my stuff's like, it's so awesome. Like, no one wanted to share anything. Whereas with this, it's like, we literally, like, we share everything. There's never a time where you're like, well, I didn't do that because I didn't know how. Or like, I don't know anything. There's going to be a time where you're like, I don't know what to do. We literally talk all the time. We're like, okay, what are we doing now? Okay, well, let's do this. What did you do now? Like, what? And it's so cool that we're always literally cheering each other on. Like, your success is her success, is my success, is our success. Like, that's what I think is the biggest takeaway for me, is that I never had that like cohesive thing. Like, if you saw my Instagram last weekend where I was away up in Pittsburgh, it's still mind blowing to me. Like, some of these girls I've known for 7 years, and if it weren't for this, I wouldn't know them. But they're literally like the people that I'm most comfortable with and make me feel like the most alive. So thinking cool. The training is super easy. We keep it super simple and just help each other out. Tori, you started out mainly for the discount, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to share kind of how that, like what that looks like?
Yeah. So I started, gosh, it's been almost 3 years. I was on maternity leave with my daughter, and I was friends with Krisanti on Facebook through another friend, and had been, stalking her like we all did, and was like, man, she had kids, she's happy, she's back in shape, like I want that too. So I bought the challenge pack. I had every intention of basically doing the group for the month and then doing my own thing after that. And like, I know you guys kind of started without being in the group, but the group is what keeps me alive. Like I got in that group. I think I was in it with Prasanthi, with Kim, a couple other coaches, and I just loved the cohesiveness that they have. And I kind of thought I could do that too, but it really just wasn't there yet. So yeah, I jumped in thinking I'll just get the discount. I'm never going to do this. I'll take my discount, keep it going. And then one day I was just like, I'm going to post it on the coach. And Prasanthi's right. They give you all the resources. They jump right on you when you give them the go ahead, and you get your training, you get your support. It's all right there at your fingertips. And I had no idea that that group is what would keep me going. And then I think when you do agree to become a coach, it gives you that extra level of accountability, because there's so many days that you're like, I don't feel like it. And I probably wouldn't show up just for me, but I know I have all these people that I told I was going to show up and I was going to be in that group. And that's what keeps me there, that I'm going to show up for them no matter what. So that's really kind of what pulled me in. And like Prasanthi said, there is the option to just jump in and get your discount, but when you decide you want to work it and you want to help people, you get so much more out of it. You get the community, you get the people showing up with you. For me, it just turned into a passion, because I know for me what it's done as a busy mom, it's just giving me that community and that outlet. And now my passion is really just jumping in and helping other moms have that too. And that's the most rewarding thing, is you kind of find your niche, and you really find the people that are kind of like attracted to you, that you know how to help, and they're brought to you for a reason.
Love it. All right, so let's do some rapid fire question stuff. I'm happy to fire them off. Girls, if you have something that you know is a question, if you want to throw it out there. And then if you are on the call with us live, if you want to pop it in the chat, any questions at all, we will happily address them. Off the top of my head, Kim, do you have one? I was going to say something. You got it? No? Okay. All right. So when you sign up to be a coach, right, to sign up, as I was saying, you're not like going through some crazy like training and all these things and having to get all these letters after your name. Basically, you sign up the same way Tori signed up as a challenger to get a discount. Like she signed up as a coach. It's all the same, right? So signing up with a challenge pack, $160. I did that 7 years ago. Would you do it again? Rapid fire. Yeah, I always say like I would do it 10 times over.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
100%.
It was the best decision I ever made, like for myself, because I figured out who I was as a person.
All right. Yeah. What were your hesitations? Oh, sure.
I have so the Facebook group that you mentioned, Prasanthi, is that the group that everybody's talking about? So like they all were part of that group? Is that what you guys mean?
At one point or another.
At
yeah.
one point.
So like when you first sign up to be a customer, or like, so if you're my customer or you're a coach under me, then you go into my group. And so basically like now you say, okay, like I'm ready, I'm all in, I want to like, but now you're like, well, I don't know if I'm ready to run a group. You come in with me and you run it like you're first participating, like just even as a challenger, you can invite people in with you as your customers, but like you run it along with me. And then when you're ready to go off and do your own, then you go off and do your own. So at this point, like we're all running our own groups. I do have a couple of coaches in with me, and I know the same is true for these girls. Does that answer your question?
That was and that was like my next question.
Yeah.
Too. Like as a coach, like, so how long did it take for, I guess, for any of you to build that where you were able to have your own group, like outside of Prasanthi?
So when I started, I asked to be a part of her group, just because I had never seen the other, like this, how anyone does it. So I just like imagined how I would run it. And then when I saw how she did it, it just allowed for me to, I committed to, like at the time it was 21 Day Fix Extreme. So it was a 3-week program. So in those 3 weeks, I joined her group and participated there while I was brainstorming how to run my own group. And then after 3 weeks with her, I started my own group. I did one group small, just my people, just to build my confidence. I added her into it so she could so I could throw off ideas and kind of get some feedback to make sure I'm like, and it's funny because I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, am I doing this right? But the reality is you can't do it wrong. That's what I always say. It's just you do you. And the people you're helping are with you because they trust you. So they're going to like your style regardless. And then there was times where I would go back and we would team up and we'd run challenges together. And then right now, like I have a group of new coaches with me who are running my challenge group there's like 3 of us running it. And then I know she's doing her own thing. And then maybe next month we like team up and do it together. Like it all depends on how big of a group you want. So you design the style for what your people are looking for, what you are excited about.
And then, okay, so that helps. And then my next question would be like my biggest fear is like putting myself out there on social media, like me working out and me being athletic and all that. Like being an athlete has never been part of my life whatsoever until like the last 3 years. And now that's like my passion. It's what I love to do. And I want to take it to another level, which is why Chrysanthi knows, like I'm always like asking questions, like, should I do it? Should I not? And my biggest fear is putting myself out there. So like, what did you guys do to build that courage to get yourself, you know what I mean? Like out there and posting things and not feeling like intimidated or like, what are other people going to think with your posts and things like that?
So I remember specifically, I had a phone call with Chrysanthi, and I think I pretty much asked like the same thing. I was like, well, I can't post every day. Like, that's just absurd. And I had just like shouted out my husband on my Facebook page. And she's like, Christy, you're doing it for everybody else anyway. Like, do it for yourself. You're amazing. And I think that like, it is super scary to put ourselves out there. But if someone's going to judge you, then they're not your people. And like, I don't want them in my life. Like, they'll unfriend me and they'll quit following me, and that's fine, because I only want people that are going to bring me joy and happiness. So I think, like, if I'm being totally honest, it's something we all kind of struggle with at some point, but eventually you find your groove and you just share your story. And when you get the messages of like, oh my gosh, I lost 10 pounds, like, thank you so much for inviting me to this, like, it negates all the other stuff and all the doubt whenever that creeps up.
And that first message you get where you're like someone just thanking you for just being you and showing up, and you could like literally that day could be like a hot mess day for you, and you're like, wow, I didn't know that would inspire somebody. And then that's when you're like, wow, like it really is just showing what I'm, just my life, like just being you and giving like the tips. Like I literally, like I talk to myself in my posts, like what I need to hear that morning, like that's what I'm giving out, you know. It's almost like I'm journaling, but like I put myself, like totally put myself up and like try to, whoever is out there, whoever I'm talking to, hopefully they need that same motivational like tip or post or whatever it is, right? But once you get that one message where they're like, you are inspiring me, like, or they just say, thank you for you showing up, I have been able to do this. And it may be something completely unrelated to this, but or it could be something that like, thank you, you saved my life, I lost 30 pounds, like whatever it is, but that is why we do this. And after that, you're like, all right, I'll post everything.
You know, and somebody said it last night on a call, like, I get scared when I send invites, like I don't want to do it, but like she put it exactly into what I'm thinking. Like, everybody deserves to feel this way. Like when you finish your workout and you have that high, like every woman deserves to feel that way. And so that trumps everything, because I just want to like spread the joy and happiness that this has brought me. Mm-hmm. And from coaching also, like I wouldn't have these girls if it wasn't for coaching. I would be alone by myself watching Netflix, you know, like I wouldn't have this team. So.
And I think you learn, because when you share, like you're not sharing to just be like, look at me, here's my selfie. I think you learn, like Kim was saying, like you're thinking, what do I need to hear today? Because if I need to hear it, somebody else does too, and you're like actually adding to their day for whatever it is. And you just kind of get into that group of sharing that too.
That's like my biggest fear. Like sharing stuff, and even if it's just like a simple like motivational post or anything like that. I don't post anything. Like I might post like a picture of my husband and I, or like a picture of my kids, like first day of school. But I looked on my Instagram the other day, and like within the last probably seven pictures ago or 7 posts ago was like a Christmas photo. that's how much I post. I don't post at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I take pictures, but I just don't put it out there. And I think that's
Yeah.
like the hump that I need to get over is
you're going to catch people's eyes when you do it instantly. And with, I already can, like, hearing you just say like how it's like your new passion and everything. When you have that sort of passion, it is going to just be contagious, girl. Like, you don't sell yourself short.
And here's the thing, and Christy even said that I had said this to her, but like your sister, right? You post her stuff.
yeah, that I do. I share her stuff. Yeah.
So like, like her sister makes like just, like she does like some apparel stuff, some like Christian like inspired things, and she's like, and the thing is like, if you post that, I'm not like, oh my gosh, Maritza, why didn't you post that? I'm like, I go and follow your sister, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what does she put? Like what does she have, and what is she doing? And so, and you also like, if you're ever tagged in something from Burn with your workout, like you're badass. It's like that you're inspiring people. People are like, look at her go. Like because of her, I'm going to do this. And so you always have to just, it's like they say, like he left the 99 to help the one, right? You have to focus on that one. You don't worry about who's going to say anything negative. You were like, here's the thing. And someone said this before, like it's planted on your heart for a reason. And you just use your voice. You use your voice and you make an impact. And that's what, going back to the beginning when I was saying I had no idea that was going to be such a big part of this. Like I really was like, all right, I'm going to work out and get results and drink a shake and get people to buy it. Like that was kind of like my mindset at that time. And it became so much more. And it like, when Kim said like you get that first message, and I've said this a million times, I know these girls have heard it on like every time I talk, but 7 years ago, my first message from someone was a girl that like I grew up with, but she had no reason, like normally she wouldn't be messaging me, right? And she was like, I just want to tell you, like your posts are so inspiring, and because of you, I X, Y, and Z. And for the last 7 years, I get like little updates from her, like, hey, because of you, I quit smoking. Hey, because of you, my daughter and I are going running together now. Hey, because of you, this. And like for the longest time, that was who I spoke to. I spoke to like, all right, if I can just reach one person like her, then I know I'm doing my job. And my job is so much bigger than anything I've ever imagined, because it started out, like I said, it was like, okay, I'm going to share my workout, and then it became like, I'm going to inspire people. And then I started to grow a team, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I can help other people to do this too. And I can mentor them. And now it's just become this like all encompassing happy bubble in a world that can be so dark. This is the light. This is the thing that like just truly brings us joy and like makes us feel alive. So that's always, now I don't even think about it. I mean, you see, I go live, and I honestly, like, I'm probably more outgoing on my posts and on my phone than I would be in person, because I'm never thinking of like, who's not going to like it. I'm thinking more of like, all right, here's my platform. I've been given this platform, and I'm going to shout it from the rooftops. I'm going to spread this message because it's on my heart. It's in my life for a reason. Whereas like, I wouldn't necessarily go outside and do that,
That was all I had. Thank you.
Those are all your questions?
That was so helpful.
All right, good. Amanda, do you have any questions?
No, I've kind of been in cahoots with Kim and her group, and I'm kind of on a little bit of a hold right now because I tried to switch coaches a little bit early. I started with someone. This was my Mother's Day gift from my husband. I decided I wanted to do something for myself, and I jumped on someone that I had been watching, and it turned out she just wasn't the right fit for me. And then I found someone on Kim's team and Kim's whole team is amazing. I love them and we talk every week and they're so inspiring. But now because I tried to switch too soon, I'm on hold for a little while, but it's okay because Kim's mentioned, I can build a community before I build a business. So it takes time anyway. So one step at a time.
Love it. Awesome. All right. Any last questions? Anything at all? If you want to are you wondering like about the compensation plan? Are you wondering about the potential? Are you wondering like, is there any of that you want us to go over while you have us all here? And if not, like I said, you can always shoot us a message.
I guess, yeah, we can, if you can go over the compensation plan, like how does that, like that's one of my husband's things. Is he's like, well, how much is it? And I'm like, well, you do have to pay like an initial fee, but then it's like however much a month. I don't remember what it was. And then he's like, well, that's like, you're spending money every month. And I'm like, I don't even know how to explain it because I don't know. Like, obviously there's some sort of profit or some sort of gain. It's just, like, how long did that take? You know what I mean? Before, because I know it takes a while for you to build a community and like build the team and yada, yada.
Right. And there are going to be like ebbs and flows, like there, after all this time, we're like, oh, this is, we know kind of how the trends go throughout the year. But so what I did when I first signed up, and I'll kind of explain the compensation, but when I was first signing up and I had those same questions, I literally wrote on a piece of paper, like, okay, this is my initial investment. Like at the time, I want to say it was even, I think I paid like two something. I don't know. It was a little bit different because it was DVDs. But so now your initial investment would be the 160, right? And that would give you your Beachbody On Demand. And then if you wanted to do Shakeology or the Performance line, right? Which is like the Energize You drink every day. That would be your initial. And then the compensation is that you make 25% on any sales. So when I sat down and I did this, I was like, okay, so if I want to make X amount of money, or let's just say I'm going to help 3 people a month. My coach was like, you want to help 3 to 5 people a month, right? So if you're helping 3 to 5 people a month and you're making like 25%, you're making anywhere between $30 to $50 on that first purchase from them. So I wrote down like, okay, I'm going to make, let's just say $35, and I did that for 5 people. And then if they're ordering the next month, either Shakeology or the Performance line, you then have that residual income from their second order, right? So what I did was I was like, okay, 5 people. Are you following this? Is this making sense? I was like, okay, 5 people, but then I'm going to do 5 new people next month. So now I'm going to have the same I had here, but now I get the residual from these 5. And so you kind of see how it like starts to build like a bridge. And so I mapped myself out that way so that I knew like, okay, this month I can make $250. Now next month, if I go and I've got 5 more people, then I can make $250 plus the residual from those 5 is another $150. Now I can make $400, right? And that's like kind of a ballpark. So I started out there. And then as time went on, I was like, okay, my coach said to me, you can make 25% commissions, right? And then you can, that's a commission-based business. If you want to unlock more potential, you can make it a binary business by building a team. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do that, So then that's when I started to build a team. And so then when I was signing coaches up, and I'm training them, and now I have that second stream. And so there's always a way to reverse engineer it. So if you come in and you're like, well, I just want to make this much money, then we look and we say, okay, you need to do this, this, and this. And we still have these conversations. I have it with these girls. I had it with my coach this weekend. And I knew like once I got into it and I really fell in love with what I was doing more than anything, I had a part-time teaching job. So I was like, okay, I need to make this much money to replace that paycheck. What does my week need to look like every week? And we're paid weekly. So then I would start to like reverse engineer and break that down. So you make the 25% commission. You have the opportunity for the binary by by having a team. The fee is you pay a $15.95 a month coaching fee. And that basically, we don't carry any inventory. We don't have to worry about shipping, which is a nightmare right now. Thank God I don't have to worry about shipping because it's insane with COVID. But all of your tracking and all of that, like once you have a customer, they're entered into the database. All their orders are stored for you in your coach office. You get a link, so when someone is going to purchase, they just go to your link and you have a shop and you can set it up nice like a website. So that's what that all covers. And that's it. Like there really, truly, there's no requirement. So like you have that $15.95 a month fee. To stay active, you do have to have a $50, roughly $50 a month order. But if you're not active, they don't like kick you out. Obviously, if you're in this to build a business, you want to be active. You know, you want to be active, you want to be bringing people in, because otherwise you're not making money. But if you're worried about like, well, what if, you know, I do it and I don't want to do it, like there's no tie to anything. You heard from each of us, we were all like, we're going to do it for a month and then we're done, you know, and here we are like multiple years later, because number one, like, yeah, you're buying something the next month, but it's a consumable product. So it's not like I've got 35,000 handbags in my garage. I'm literally drinking my Shakeology. So I'm buying something that I would drink anyway. Like, and I know just looking at the people on the call, like Kim's husband does CrossFit. He's a CrossFit coach, but he uses our performance line. Like my kids drink our Hydrate, which is like a clean Gatorade. We've got a kids shake. So it's things that like have become consumable. So like, yeah, I am buying them, but it's replacing, like, instead of buying granola bars at the store, I'm buying Beach Bars from Beachbody. Instead of buying a shake from Costco, I'm buying Shakeology. Instead of buying, you know, whatever energy drink from wherever, I'm getting it from there. So does that make sense as far as like the input output part? Okay, I feel like that was like a long-winded explanation. All right, so that's the breakdown of it. Basically from here, Marissa, let's talk. I know where you live. No, just kidding, not kidding. But seriously, let's talk. And honestly, like the next step would just be, and I know we've talked about different packs, but I would just send you the link, send you the cart. You would go ahead and put everything in, and like literally you could be like, I'm a freaking business owner right now. Like in like 5 minutes, which is mind blowing to me. So that would be it. That would be your next steps. And then once you were signed up, we would get you plugged into the challenge group for the support. And then, like I said, you're welcome to invite people that are your customers into there, and I'll teach you how to run it. And then we start your coach training, and I walk you through the training and give you step-by-step and get you rocking. And I would be so pumped because you're so local that we could just really crush this together. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right, I'm excited. I'm glad I
All right.
finally like jumped on a call.
Me too. I'm so excited you were here. Well, thank you so much for jumping on. And like I said, any other questions you have, just shoot me a message and we'll chat them.
Awesome.
All right, girl.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Or girls.
good
Thanks,
night.
girls. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, how do I leave this?